I have self-determination. I understand my determination stems from my desire to honor my Creator. My determination is mine. I accept the will and desires of others. I respect and accept the will and desires of others as their choice. I can agree to disagree. I'm determined in my goals, but not insisting my wishes overrule the guidance others seek as they achieve their destiny. I am redirectional because I seek to honor my Creator, and I self-correct my course and continue moving forward in my determination to reach my goals. Hi, this is Dr. Anita with another Diamond Moment. The diamonds of our lives are produced through time, heat, and pressure. It's up to you to gather the value from these experiences to grow in your life. If these messages have enlightened or helped you in any way, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I want to hear from you. Our topic today is procrastination, and we're digging deeper into fear. As I've shared before, much of the pressure we experience comes from our own procrastination. The reasons that we procrastinate is that we anticipate an outcome that we don't want. We can limit the pressure when we eliminate the procrastination. And today, we're digging deeper into fear. I suggest using your Diamond Journey Journal. Becoming is a process, and a process has stages, by me, Dr. Anita McLaughlin. You can use it to capture your spiritual, financial, social, emotional, and physical thoughts, or to make a plan for moving forward in your life. It's a 1-year journal without dates, so you simply start with the day you receive it, setting small monthly, weekly, and daily tasks, which will move you forward until you reach the day you began the journey the following year. So get your journal, write down your thoughts, and let's start. I went back to look at some of the major changes that have taken place in my life, among those being where I am really today. I've had to look at, to reevaluate, and because I've been in a position of teaching others some of the things that I've learned, to go back as I have found error and correct those things which I put out there in other people's lives. I think that that's very, very important. I know that the thing now is to double down on what you already know is not true. I'm not one of those people. I don't have a problem with saying I see things differently. Why? Because I've grown. Because where I was is not where I am today. And I am able to respect the changes that God, Creator, Source, the universe, has made in my life. And I'm not ashamed to share those things with you. I've written books on topics that at this point I see completely differently. And I'm working on going back and rewriting with a new level of understanding and correcting some of the erroneous thoughts that I had in the past, because I don't feel that way anymore. Again, I have grown. So the things that I'm sharing with you are a part of my lived experience that I believe, if you would like to use my experience, can help you to move forward in your own life. I think right now, as we look around our lives, both personally and even from a worldwide perspective, we're seeing some worldwide and personal paradigm shifts. I shared in a earlier Diamond Moment, this I did January 17th of 2022, and I talked about the truth that I found in Scripture, some of the things that proved to be true and to help me through where I was at the particular time in my life of which this episode is talking about. But since that time, since both my initial concept began and when I recorded this in January of 22, my life has changed in a way that has required me to again reevaluate my own thoughts, my own considerations, my own beliefs. And as a result, when I talk about in this episode, how to create a major shift in your life, I talk about the fact that the major shift that occurred in my life was developing a foundational belief system. And at that point and at that time, I said that belief system was based off of what I had been able to develop as a foundation was based off of Scripture. I had someone that I trusted as a spiritual teacher who gave some definitions for some words that were located in Scripture. And I've later found out that those definitions were truly incorrect. That is what I mean by going back and correcting the things that maybe I put out there. And I'm saying this more in a perspective of personal teaching sessions that I've had, not necessarily everything taking place within the podcast. But the information that I got was incorrect. And it went towards relating to Scripture that it was things that never made sense. It's not that, oh, I found this out and then it didn't make sense. It's like, no, it never made sense. And I think these are some of the ongoing questions that people have who are seeking truth. That doesn't make sense to me. How can that be? And as I moved forward, as I studied, as I got more in depth understanding, it caused me to begin to use the term that I use now. I believe in the truth in Scripture, but I also understand that some of the things that we were given as truth were simply meant to control. And so part of what I want us to do as we continue to move forward and dig deeper into fear and looking at what causes us to procrastinate. What causes us to procrastinate when we know something is wrong and yet we don't move forward in making those changes? And sometimes it's because that deep foundational belief that we carried for many, many years that is now no longer adequate and appropriate or correct for us to use now, we're fearful that, number one, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe they are still right, even though all of this stuff doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And the other side of that is, well, if I don't believe that now, what do I believe? Where am I? And that can cause a crisis of yourself. It can cause you to question everything because everything that you knew at that time was based off of precepts that you no longer find appropriate, adequate, or correct, truthful for where you are today. And I think many times we procrastinate because we don't know where we will end up if we delve into more study and looking at what we believe today as opposed to what we believed years ago. And what I have come to learn, which I will offer to you, and I say offer it because no one has to take anything that anyone says as quote unquote gospel. They don't have to believe anything that anyone says other than how your spirit and how the spirit of God, creator, source, the universe, interacts with you to show you and teach you what's real and what's true for your life. So again, I stopped using a broad term and began to qualify it more in that I do believe in the truth of Scripture. And I'm still going forth, and I am still questioning, examining, and researching some of those topics, some of those areas that have never, ever sat right with me, that I never truly accepted and believed, but simply parroted what I had been taught. That's the part that makes it so difficult, because we're parroting what someone told us that we believe to be true, even after that information began to surface as untruth. So, in the episode that I referred to, How to Create a Major Shift in Your Life, around the 4-minute and 44-second to approximately the 10-minute point, I'm talking about a paradigm shift. Events in your life that are so large that once you experience them, it changes the way that you live and move and conduct yourself in your life. That is what I have come to. As I'm saying, I believe in the truth of Scripture, but I do understand that many things were written in order to maintain control, and they were not the truth. Along with that, we have to begin, as we've said before, to look inside, to listen within, to be able to gather and garner truth from the leading of your own higher self, spirit man, spirit being, whatever term you want to use for it. We have to learn to listen. Now, there's a scripture that many people quote. If my people that are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, then they would hear from heaven, and then they would have success. Okay? Now, the optimal word in that is hear, because that's the part that people don't do. They're never silent enough to be able to hear after they have prayed or asked for guidance. They don't sit still long enough to be able to hear. And how do we hear? How do we hear a spiritual being that's speaking to us in spiritual terms when we've never taken the time to develop a spiritual understanding of what the Creator, Source, Spirit, the universe is trying to say to us? The portion that we've gotten in the past has been that a pastor, a teacher, a religious person, you fill in the gap on your foundational understanding, will tell you what it means. And I believe that in this worldwide and personal paradigm shift that we are experiencing right now, that's no longer working. We have to develop the ability to hear, to perceive, to understand, and to interpret what we are hearing, seeing, and understanding for our own lives. We have to be able to power through that fear of somebody thinking that you're this, that, or the other, that if you hear or have an unction of what's taking place around you, that makes you somehow emotionally or psychologically challenged, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's time for us to live another level of that giant shift, a paradigm shift that changes everything in our lives. We're going to continue talking about the way that we understand what's taking place and what's going on around us. It's vital that we get this information because for many, our lives are dependent on it. I want you to remember this. If I want acceptance, why is it a strange concept that others do too? And also, never forget that becoming is a process, and that process has stages. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I really do want to hear from you. Thank you so much for continuing to listen. I hope that the messages I'm sharing will be a benefit to you. But it's up to you to put into action the things that you're learning so that you can watch your life change. If you haven't done so, please get your Diamond Journey Journal, Becoming is a Process, and a Process Has Stages, by me, Dr. Anita McLaughlin, and make a commitment to move forward in your spiritual, financial, social, emotional, and physical goals. This one-year journal is designed to move you forward, starting with where you are today, then moving you until you reach this day next year. You're also invited to join me on NoomVibe, FanBase, and please visit my website at www.DrAnita.com. That's DrAnitaMc.com. Join me next week for another Diamond Moment.